Hi there. Recently I saw this advertisement for an AI-powered app where you can take a picture of your meal and it will tell you how many calories is in that meal. And I thought that's a pretty interesting idea and something that should be pretty easy to implement using the GPT-4 Vision API, or now the new GPT-4o model. So in today's video, I'm going to try to implement just that. Now that application was a mobile application, but I'm not that familiar with creating mobile applications, so I will just make a web application. But I'll make sure it works on mobile as well. So let's just first prove the point that we can actually calculate calories with ChatGPT. So I have a couple of images that I actually generated with ChatGPT. So if I go to my test images, and let's take this image, for example. It's an image of a burger with some fries and some ketchup. So if I just ask how many calories is this, then let's see what it answers. Okay, it is going to say that we have a burger bun with sesame seeds and the average is 150 to 200 calories. And we have a beef patty, and we have cheese slice and lettuce and tomato slices and condiments and fries and ketchup for dipping. So it actually goes through all of the different ingredients and then calculates a total that should be approximately that much, which sounds pretty good. If we look at this picture, this would probably be somewhere around 1,000 calories. And let's try another picture as well. So let's start a new chat and I will take another one. And this time it's a little bit of a healthier meal. Can I in fact view this? So we have a salad here, but we do also have some orange juice and a sandwich. So how many calories would this be? Like the chicken is like 200-300 calories. Salad is almost negligible, like 50 to 80 calories if there's no dressing. And how much is orange juice? Like 80-100 calories, I'm not sure. And there's some more chicken in the sandwich, so that's another 200 calories. And the bread is like 150 calories for 2 slices, something like this. So let's see what ChatGPT says. That's my opinion on this. So if I ask how many calories is in this meal, what will it tell us? To estimate the calories in this meal, I'll break it down into its components and provide an approximate calorie count for each. Okay, we have grilled chicken salad, in which we have grilled chicken breast, we have mixed greens, we have cherry tomatoes, sliced cucumbers, light vinaigrette, okay, and chicken sandwich. So we have whole wheat bread, 140 calories, okay, grilled chicken, 95 calories, lettuce, tomato and other veggies, 15 calories, okay, and 112 calories for orange juice. So that would be 635 calories, which seems to me like a pretty good estimate of this meal. So how do we turn this into an app? I want to just upload an image or take an image with my phone and then it should just tell me the calories. That's all I want. So let's try and do this with the API. Let's jump into VS Code and let's use Python for this. So let's do a main.py. And what are we going to do here? We have to, from OpenAI, import OpenAI. And I will make actually sure that I am using a virtual environment so that I will have the latest version of every package that I'm using. So let's do Python 3m venv, and then we can do source venv bin activate. And then we can install OpenAI. So let's actually do this properly and let's create a requirements.txt. And here we have OpenAI. And let's do pip install r requirements.txt. So we should install the latest version of OpenAI. And let's then send an image to OpenAI. So how does this work? I do not remember. At least we need to start by saying that a response equals client, which we have to initialize. So we have to say that the OpenAI client is OpenAI, like this. And we have to do client chat completions create. And here we pass in the model, and we are going to be using GPT-4o here. And then we have to pass in the messages. And there's a specific format we have to use with these messages when we want to send images. And I don't remember how this works. I won't have a system message, but I will have a user message. But in the user message, we have to add the image. And I think we had to have this like as a list or something, but I don't remember. Let's see if Copilot knows. It probably doesn't know because this is a new thing. Okay, yes, maybe it was like this. So type text and we're going to have a type image. Type image. Okay, but let me verify this because I really don't remember. So let's go to platform.openai.com and let's take a look at vision. How does this work? Okay, it is image URL, and this is type text, and the text is that. Okay, so Copilot just hallucinated this thing. So this should be text, and this should be image URL, and I believe we can add it here as base64 encoded. So let's say that we have a base64 image, and let's define it up here. Base64 image is going to be something like this. Yes, that's correct. But we have to import base64. And then we can do base64 b64 decode. I believe this is how it worked. But in fact, we have to open the file first. So let's do with open image.jpg. Then we have to do this. Okay, so this basically opens the image and then converts it into base64 format. But we don't just pass it in here like this, it has to be the actual URL. So I guess we can just put the stuff in here like this. And here we have to say data. And I will do it this way so Copilot will help me. Okay, so we have to define the MIME type and then say it's base64 and a comma and then put the base64 encoded image there. An image really should be like an input parameter here. So let's do let's just define it main and let's give it the image, and we're going to do all this stuff here, but instead of image.jpg we are just going to do image, which is used here already, so I will call it image path or image file, something like this. Image path is fine. And of course the text should not be what is the capital of the United States. This should be how many calories is in this meal. And when we get the response, we can get the response message from this, which is going to be response choices 0 message. And then the content is going to be response message content. Content, like this. And we can just return the content. So this should give us the response. And that, I guess, means that we can call this get calories from image. And down here, we can add a main area and we can say that the image is path to some image and then we just print the calories. And I will get this from sys.argv1, which means we have to import sys. So we will import sys. So now it should work, but we don't have an OpenAI API key yet. And usually what I do in these videos is I just do export OpenAI API key, and then I put my OpenAI API key here. But then everyone in the comments asks, where do you put the OpenAI API key? So perhaps I have to change how I do this, because it's a simple thing, but it's hard to explain to people how it works. So let's use a .env file, because that seems to be the way people do it in Python. So from .env, we have to import load.env, and that means we have to also require this. So Python .env, I believe it's this way. And then we can call here load.env, and then we can create like a .env.sample file here, and I can put OpenAI API key equals sk something. I don't know what that is. So now we have an example, and then let's create an actual .env file where we will put OpenAI API key, And I will put the actual API key here, which I can get from API keys. And I will create a new one for this video. And let's call this calorie counter. And then I can copy this one and I can paste it in here. Amazing. And of course I will revoke this key after this video, so don't try to use it. So now we don't have to export the OpenAI API key, but we still can use that way if we want. But we can also save it in the env file, which makes sense. And I'll also make a git ignore file with the env file so that we're not going to add that into Git. And I guess I might as well add PyCache in here. And I need to pip install our requirements again so that we get the .env in there as well. But now, finally, we should be able to do this. So let's run python 3 main.py and see what happens. List index out of range, because we have to pass in the image file. So let's take from test images one of these. Let's take that one and let's see if it actually works. Okay, it did not work. We had a bad request. Invalid content type. Image URL is only supported by certain models. So does GPT-4o not support this? That's weird. Let's actually go to the documentation. So in the vision documentation, we are using GPT-4o. Sorry. Role user. Content is an array with this type text, and we have the text in there. Then we have type image URL and then the image URL. I think I forgot to do that. So why is it so difficult? So we have to have an image URL and then the image URL is URL, which is then this, which makes no sense. But I think now it is correct, right? That should be correct. So let's try this again. GPT-4o and run this thing. And look at this. We got a response, which is funny that we got that kind of error. It's the wrong error message for this. But anyway, here we have the whole message. So the total calories for this was 1,100 to 1,500. And I used a different image now. I believe it was this one. Yeah, so we have some soda here, we have a burger and fries and some mayo. And that looks like 1,500 calories. Makes sense. So it works. But I want to only get the total number. Or I guess it would be nice to list everything that's in the picture. But in either case, we want to have a JSON output here. So let's do this. I believe that this model supports also the JSON mode. So we can pass in here response format, and we can say type JSON object. And now I'm gonna add a system message here. And this is what Copilot wants. You are a dietitian. A user sends you an image of a meal and asks how many calories are in it. Okay, makes sense. I will say a user sends you an image of a meal and you tell them how many calories are in it. And I will say use the following JSON format. And let's make up a JSON format. So this should be an object, and we should have in the object, I'll make this actually a multi-line string like this. And then I can move this down here. And I can say that we are going to have food items as one key, and this is a list. And in this list, we want to have a name of the food item, and we want to have the calories, how many calories. And let's also add a total, which doesn't really make sense because we can calculate it since they are listed there. But let's do it anyway. Now, the problem with this might be that if it directly outputs this JSON, it doesn't get all of the items in the meal. So we might want to do some prompt chaining here, but let's see how it works. And then what we can do is we can actually return JSON.loads content. And that means we have to import JSON. Import JSON. But I don't think we have to add anything to requirements because this is a built-in thing. But let's do that. And I'm going to then actually print JSON dumps calories, and I will put some indent in there so that it looks nice. So let's see if that works. If we run this thing again, we should get a nice JSON object with all the different items and then the total calories. Okay, we got 915 calories, so it's not quite deterministic. It was actually lower than the lowest estimate here. Okay, but did we get everything? We got the cheeseburger, we got the medium fries. Wait a minute, cheeseburger 300 calories. That is not correct. Mayonnaise 100 calories, cola 150. Okay, let's try this kind of trick. What if we add to the JSON format some sort of reasoning in the beginning? So then it will start by explaining why it wants to use specific calories for everything. So that might improve the outcome of this. But we might actually just want to ask it, first of all, what food items can you see in this image? And then how many calories? And then convert that into JSON. But let's see, maybe that is enough. At least to begin with, we can make changes later. Okay, so now we actually got a larger total here. So 1,200, which I'm happy with. We might want to say that we want a lower estimate and a higher estimate. But let's see now. Based on the image, the meal consists of a cheeseburger, a serving of French fries, a dipping sauce, likely mayonnaise, and a glass of soda. The estimated caloric values for each of these items are accounted to provide a total calorie count. Okay, cheeseburger is 500, French fries is 365, mayonnaise 200. Okay, I guess they are fine estimates. Now, I'm not sure how well it understands, if at all, the size of the fries, for example. This was actually the image we're using now. So I'm guessing that it doesn't really account for the size of the fries. That it can extract the information from the photo that there are French fries, but then the estimate is just based on how much regularly there are French fries. So maybe if I had a picture of a huge mountain of French fries, maybe it just would say, oh, it's 300 calories because it's French fries. Not sure, but we can test it out later. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that because now we have it in JSON format and we have the list like this. So in the UI, we can just list all the things and then say the total calories. So let's build a UI for this thing. How are we going to do this? I will first of all move this function into its own module. So I'm going to create here a file called calorie counter.py. And I'll just slap this in there. And I will use all of these imports here. And let's say client is OpenAI. We might want to pass that into this thing. But for now, I'll just move it into this separate module. And then we can just do here from calorie counter import get calories from image. And let's create then a server, a Flask server. I will call it server.py. And from Flask, we will import Flask. And of course, we have to add that into our requirements. So we need Flask. And app is Flask name, and then let's add a route and just put hello world. And then if we are running this directly, then we run the app. And we can say that debug is true. So let's run this server, Python 3 server.py. We don't have Flask, so let's pip install requirements again. Or, I mean, I could just install Flask, but whatever. Okay, let's try again. Python server.py. So now we have a server running. So let's see what we have in there. We have hello world. Okay, but we want to have some sort of UI where we can upload an image. So let's add a button in there. And this is going to be the index route. And we will just render template, let's say index. And we have to import render template from Flask. And let's create a directory called templates. And here we will create index.html. And let's just add some boilerplate here. And this is calorie counter. And how about we use ChatGPT to create this UI? I am building a web application that can calculate the calories from an image you upload or take a picture of. There should be a button in the middle where you can upload it and a place that shows the calorie count. Please create an image of a design for this web app. Let's see what kind of design we get. And here it is, our interface. It is loading, and what is this? What is this? This is not good. I want just basically a blank page with a camera icon in the middle. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to have a button in the middle where you can upload and then it will tell you how many calories. Not this. What is this? Okay, that actually looks pretty good. So, I mean, yeah, kind of. Okay, I will download this thing and I am going to say, take this image and create the HTML for this HTML and CSS for this website layout. And I feel like I would have already written the code if I just started to write it. But hey, let's see. If this is the code I had to write, then maybe no. But let's see what this looks like. Let's copy this code and slap it in here. And this is going to be calorie counter. And this should be reactivated automatically. So if I refresh this, then look at this. That's pretty cool, actually. I don't know what all these things are, but it kind of looks like what we have here. But what I will do is I am going to remove some of the things here. So we have power and signal. So we have like a status bar. I think I don't need these. So where is status bar? This one. We don't need those. What does it look like then? Okay. And I'm not sure what this is. I mean, I guess the calorie count could show up here. But it's a little bit too big. Or am I zoomed in? I'm actually zoomed in. So this is how it looks like. Really. Okay. So let's take the image or the camera icon from this. So I think I will just take a screenshot of this thing. So just do something like this. I'm not sure how far that shadow goes. Let's do like this. And can I just paste the image here? I can't. But I can probably paste it in here or not. So I will take it from pictures, screenshots, and take it from here. And let's make a static folder in here. And in here, let's make an images folder. And in here, let's paste it and let's call it camera. So now we should be able to change this to static images camera. And we can remove this comment from here. So now if we go back here and we refresh, then we have the camera here. But it's not the whole picture. So I'll probably not even use like a CSS icon like this. I will make an actual image icon. So can I just make like a button with an image? Is that how it works? If I do this, what will it look like? It will look like that. Wait, I feel like there was some attribute for the button where you can actually pass in an image. So let's copy this and ask ChatGPT, is this the proper way of doing it? Your code snippet is mostly correct. Okay, but you need alt. Okay, fine. So that means we can add an ID to this and call it upload. And then we can have here upload, and we don't want a border. Let's say border none, and padding 0, and maybe that's enough. Let's refresh. Okay, so now we have just this. And I will say cursor, pointer, and then it should be smaller. But I can probably just say upload image, and I'll just set the width to 50 pixels and refresh. So now we have this upload button, but I will make it a little bit bigger. Let's say 90 pixels. Okay, now the shadow looks terrible because I clipped it wrong, but we can fix that later. Don't worry about that. Let's then do what? What is this here? Is that a part of the button or what? Or the image? No, there's like a border. How do I remove that? How do I remove all borders from the button? Now, it might have been easier just to make it a link. Okay, I think it's the outline. So let's say border none, outline none. But that's not really something you should do. You shouldn't remove the outline, which didn't do anything. Is there a background? Background none. And then, okay, it's just a background. That's fine. So now we have a button here. I don't really like this line here, so I am going to just remove it. Bottom bar. I don't like it. If I now refresh, now we have just this thing. So can I put some text in here? I will not call it button, I will call it calorie count. And let's put some numbers here to begin with. And this is going to be calorie count. And I will say that text align is center and some margin. Margin top 50 pixels. That's way too much. Just 25. And then I want to move this whole thing in the middle. So how do I do that? We have the container here, and the container is display flex, align item center, and align content center. Is that what I want? No, let's use actually Chrome for this. So we have a beautiful tool somewhere. When you go to container and styles, we can use this thing, justify content. So that should be center. Okay, then it's going to look like this. So I will add justify content center, and I will take a little bit out of this. Okay, not a very beautiful UI, but it's a UI. Let's remove the numbers from here, and I will add an ID to this instead of a class. So now we should make this button actually let us upload a file. So let's move our CSS first of all into a separate file. Link rel style sheet, and ref is static CSS style.css, and script, no jQuery, just script.js. And let's create this thing, CSS, and here we will have style.css, and we are going to have JS, and this will be script.js. So what we want to do here is bind when we click on the upload button. So I will actually move this down here so we can actually bind to it directly. So let's say that the const upload button is document query selector upload. And upload button, when we click it, we are going to do this. We are going to get a file input, but we don't have a file input, which we have to add. We're going to select the file input, we are going to get the file from it, and then upload. But that's not really what we want to do. We want to, first of all, prompt for the file. This assumes we have selected the file already. So let's add a comment here. Prompt for a file, but not really window prompt. Ask to upload a file or take an image. Okay, so now we actually create the input element, and then we set the type to file, and we hopefully set the accept to images. And I think there is some like media thing, or maybe it's just the accept, so that when you're on the phone it will actually show that you can use the camera. I think it's just when you have the image accept type, then it will suggest that you maybe want to use the camera. So basically we create an input and then we click on it. So this should basically open the file selector. And then we add an event listener to that. So when it changes, then we're going to upload the file. So we're going to get the file, and then we're going to initialize the file reader, and we're going to read it as a data URL. And that is not what we want to do, because we don't just want to add the image, which we might want to actually do to show the image that you uploaded, but I want to just upload it and then get the response back. So we're not going to use the file reader, I think, at all. We're going to upload the file. So we're going to do exactly this. Const fd equals form data, and then we add the image there, which I believe we can do directly like this. And then we're going to fetch upload, and we're going to post the image there and then get the response, and then we're going to get the actual image. So basically data URL will be the image, and here we like select this, but I don't care about this. I don't care about the image. So we're just going to post to upload, and then for now let's just console log the data. And we have to end this thing somehow like this. And there's still an error here, so what do we need to do still? This also needs to be ended like that. Okay, let's refresh, and if I click here, it will ask me for a file. But then of course we don't have the upload endpoint right now. So let's create the upload endpoint. Let's go to our server and let's add app route upload. And we're not going to render a template upload. We're going to actually get the uploaded file. So we need to import something from Flask, probably request, and we can say that the file is request files file. Was this what we call it? I believe. Maybe it was image actually. So let's call it image. And I believe that the image is going to be already on the disk. We don't have to save it. It's in some temp or something. So can we just get the image path? Can I just do image dot something? Because I believe that this is some sort of object. What is it? Does it tell me? It's a file storage object. So is there like a path? Image dot file name. Is that the full thing? Let's see. If we just return some JSON from this, let's just do this and see, is that the full path or not? We should be able to use this now because I have the debug mode on, so it refreshes that. So if we open the console and we upload some image from here, then we should get something in the console. Okay, apparently method not allowed. So we have to add here methods is post so that we can actually post to it. So let's try it again. Upload, take an image, and let's go here. Okay, so it's just a file name. So let's ask ChatGPT. Can I get the temporary file path of a file storage object in Flask when an image is uploaded? Because why do I have to save it in there? It should be saved somewhere temporarily. File stream name. Okay, but we have to check something. So if we don't have a file name, then we didn't select the file. Okay, so image path is image.stream.name. And if not image.filename, or did we actually have to do if image file name equals empty, then we can say no image uploaded and give a 400 error. And otherwise we get the image path, and then we can import from calorie counter, import get calories from image, and this takes the image path, so we can pass this there directly. So we can say that calories is get calories from image, and we pass that in there directly. And let's just return calories and put the calories in here. Let's see if it works. Do we get the calories? Let's refresh and click here, and let's get the images from here. Let's do this one, and Did this happen right now? Did we get a server error? Okay, expected string bytes or path like object but got none type. Okay, image stream name. So that means ChatGPT lied to me. Stream name. Okay, so what if I actually save it? Let's just do image.jpg and let's do image.save and then just pass in the image path here. Now, of course, we don't just want to save it here, but then we can put it in as temporary file, I guess. So let's try that. Refresh and select the image, and then it should be uploading it. And is it doing something? Yes, it did something. And we, in fact, got the calories. So now it works. We can get the calorie count, we get the food items, and we get the reasoning and the total calories, which this time was 935. But it was a different image. Okay, so now we just have to show that in the UI. But of course, now we're going to have an image.jpg here, which we don't want to have. So what I will do is I will import temp file, and then this image path can be just temp file make temp. I think this was actually deprecated. This function is unsafe and should not be used. Thank you very much, Copilot. So we should say named temporary file, and we do want to delete it. I mean, the delete, I think, meant that it will be deleted on close. So does it mean that it will be deleted after we save it or what? And it is true by default. Let's see if it works. Yeah, the thing is here, because we are running a Python server, a Flask server, then I guess we still have to delete the temporary file afterwards, because it's going to be deleted when we close the application. So I guess we can do os.remove image path, and let's import os. So now we shouldn't have anything left over, but we might get an error if I have it like this. Let's see. I'm not quite sure when it's going to delete the file. Anyway, if we now refresh and we take it again, we take the image file and we wait for a while, we should get the calories. And here they are. So it works. So I guess that is a fine way of doing it. Let me know in the comments if you know when the thing is deleted, when the delete is true. I guess it says here, the file will be automatically deleted when it is closed, unless the delete argument is set to false. I guess I don't quite understand when it is closed, because doesn't image.save open it and then close it? Oh, or this returns. What does return? It returns this object, so is there like a close in? Okay, so I can call close on this. So maybe that is the correct way of using this. So I should say that the temp file is this, and then the image path is this, and then we just say temp file close. Okay, that makes sense. Not sure if there's any difference, but it seems like this is the correct way of doing it. And not sure if we have to even set this temporary variable here. Just do like this. Okay, that should work. So now we have to show in the UI the calories. So in our script, once we get the data, we can say that the calories, or let's say total calories, is going to be the data.total. It's just total, I think. And we have here calorie count. So we can say that document query selector calorie count text content is going to be total calories. And I guess we could move this to like calorie count. And let's say here const calorie count is this one. And I guess, again, we don't need this temporary variable here. We can just do this. And of course, it would be nice to have some sort of loading spinner while it is uploading. So let's call here something like loading. And here we will say stop loading. And let's implement that. Let's make a function loading. And this should do something. Let's look at the UI. How should we show the loading? I want just like a spinner here. How can I create that? We could say const spinner is document create element div, and we add a class spinner, and then we add it to the body. Okay, we can just do this, and in stop loading we remove the spinner, and then we can do the rest of this in CSS basically. So we can add here spinner, and it's gonna look like this. So basically we're gonna make a 50 pixels by 50 pixels element. We're gonna put a border radius 50%, which makes it round, and we put a border which is white, and border top is going to be blue. So then it's going to be one part of it will be blue, I guess half of it or something. And then we set an animation for it, and we have to define the animation here, which will just rotate. But this is not enough. We want to have like an overlay. So let's do spinner overlay. And this is fixed, top 0, left 0, and width is 100% and height is 100%. And it is a dark, but I want it to be actually a light color, like 80%. And display flex and justify content center, align item center, Z index 1000. So this will just make the whole screen kind of white, and then the spinner will be on top of that or inside of that. So then we have to modify this, and we actually create the spinner, and then we create the spinner overlay, and we call it spinner overlay, and then we do spinner the other way, spinner overlay, append child spinner, and then we append the spinner overlay to the body. So then it should work. So if we refresh, and if we just try it here, if we say in the console loading, then it will look like this. Where's our spinner? Let's see. Spinner, and there we have a spinner, but why can't we see the spinner? Spinner, class name is spinner, spinner overlay, class name is spinner overlay, append child spinner, and then spinner will be put in the body. Why doesn't it work? Display none. Because it assumed that we add the spinner there all the time, but we are creating it every time. So that's why it doesn't work. So if we now refresh, and I will go to the console off screen, and I will say loading, then it looks like this. But it doesn't look amazing. Really, I would like it to remove the camera icon, just be in place of the camera icon. So what if we remove this overlay? Let's forget this overlay thing. And I'm gonna add the spinner here, div class spinner, and actually we can just say ID spinner, and we can do this. So now if I go to the page, we will have the spinner right here. So what we can do is we can hide everything else. So we can act like a div class upload, and we can put this stuff in here, and then we have a spinner. I mean, again, we can use an ID, which we already have upload. What is this called? Let's just call it counter. And then we can say the spinner is display none. And when we load, then we just say document dot query selector counter dot style display is none, and document query selector spinner style display is what is it, block, or is it flex? I guess block. And we do the opposite in stop loading. So here the spinner is none and the counter is block. Does that make sense? Why did that change? Because I added this thing in here. Because this will screw up the positioning. So I am going to do this, and I will just do separately all of these things, which is not the best, but I am getting in need of a break right now. So we are going to say that upload is none and calorie count is none. And here we will say that upload is block and calorie count is block. So now it looks like this. And if I put loading here, then it looks like this. And if I stop loading, then it comes back. So now, moment of truth. If I click here and I select from the Calorie app the test image, it will start loading and then it will tell us how many calories is in this meal. And it did not do it for some reason. It stopped loading, but it didn't update this. This is called calorie count. Why did it not work? Calorie count text content equals data total. Did I get some error here? I didn't get any errors. And upload returned calorie. Sorry, it's in calories. Sorry. So data, calories, total. Then it's going to work. Let's try it again. Refresh and click this and let's take the image. And then it's going to load and it's going to spin and it will tell us how many calories is in this meal. And here it is. This meal has 347 calories, which I don't remember which picture it was. It was probably one of those healthier options. I think I put this one. Okay, so that makes sense because we have just some chicken here and this might be even a 0-calorie drink, let's say. So we can actually see in the network tab, what did it say? So we have grilled chicken breast, salad, and glass of water with lemon. Okay, so now it works. So we can pick an image and we can get it from our computer. Let's pick another image here. Let's take this unhealthy one and then it will load it and it will send it to ChatGPT and it will respond with the calorie count, which in this case was actually a string. So we have some stuff to work on here because it included the calories here, which is not terrible, but we should be consistent with that. Anyway, I think this video is getting long enough. So in the next video, I will make some improvements to this and I will actually deploy this on the internet. So if you want to see that video, then make sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss it when I post it. See you next time.